All right, everyone, Mr. B with you again with another video for the beginning or entry level guitarist. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about minor chords and variants of major chords. Nothing fancy unless you want it to be. Now, I have my good old trusty 12 string with me today. I love a 12 string. Some people don't. Some people say they're a nuisance and you got to be crazy. I have two of them. What's that tell you? All right. So, mine, I'm tuned a half step down. So it'd be like having an extra fret right here, which would be just a little bit lower than your standard guitar tuning, which you probably have. If I wanted to be in standard, I'd have to clamp it or capo it right here. That's standard. But you get the idea. It's going to have the same shape no matter how far out of tune I am. All right, let's start with something simple with the E. On E, we've talked that the top string is E, second string is A, D, G, E, and another E. And I have two courses of strings on this guitar. They're tuned the same, just one of the same note with the or to the same key, but one is an octave string. So it's going to be the same. Like if this is an E standard, this is an E. It's just going to be a little bit higher. This makes my guitar sound a little bit more fuller. I like that. I need all the help I can get. Anyway, let's go back to E. All right. A traditional E, we have pointer on, let me get up here, we can see it. First fret, ring and middle finger on the second fret, and okay then, let's do an E minor. I'm getting rid of that, on this particular one, I'm getting rid of that pointer finger. Okay, let's do an E7. E, we gotta count. E1, F2, G3, A4, B5, C6, D7. So I'm doing an E minor, and let's see, right here on the second fret, excuse me, second string, third fret, that's a D because that's our good old friend right there. So I'm going to hold down these and let that be my simple, right? Now, augmented chords, minor chords, they sound, just to me, they sound best on an acoustic when you're finger picking, or on an electric guitar if it's clean. You really don't want to have a lot of crunch, a lot of distortion on those. I mean, you can if you want to, but you know, you really want that minor sound to come out, I think. Okay, so let's do an E right there again. I'm doing an E minor with the seventh. It's kind of a lonesome sounding chord to me. All right, let's do an A. A, remember, my top two strings are open. These two strings are open. My third, fourth, and fifth strings I'm going to hold down, and the bottom string's going to be open. This is a standard A. Easy, you can do it like this. Well, okay, let's do a minor now. I'm going to, it's kind of the same formation as the standard E chord. I'm going to move it down a string. Hey, that sounds familiar. So I have the A string open, middle finger, and ring finger on the third and fourth string down, and my pointer on the second string, first fret. That note is actually a C, but that's what I need here. Let's do the difference. Standard A, A minor. Cool. All right, B. Pointer on the second fret, second string, holding down the rest of them on the, the fourth fret, the third, fourth, and fifth. There's B. Let's do a B minor. Well, B's my one. So I'm going to use my middle finger because that's just mine. You can use this one if you want to. There's no law that says you can't. It's just easier to see. My middle finger on the second string, second fret. Pointer on the third string, first fret. Let's get the difference in those. Here's standard B, B minor. Cool, right, cool, right. Let's jump up to D. Here's a standard D right here. I'm not going to fool with bothering these top two strings. I'm going to have the third string is my D. I'm going to put my pointer and middle finger on the second fret, fourth and sixth string down here. My ring finger going up to this D, which we visited just a second ago, a few minutes ago, on the third fret. Standard D. Let's do a little bit of minor. Well, those two strings are still matched down. The fourth one and the bottom one are still matched down. I just had to change fingers to make this work better. My pointer is now going to be on the first fret. Standard. This is that one that also has the slide that you hear a lot of old blues songs. Kind of like that. It's hard to do on a 12 string for me. And plus, on my picking hand here, I do have a thumb injury, so apologize for that. I sound worse than normal. Alright, let's get started with those chords. Yeah, let's put a little melody with those. I'm going to start with the E minor. I'm not going to do the E7, which is that down here. That's going to do standard E minor. So there you go. There's a few chords to get started with. I do love the sound of a minor chord or an augmented chord sometimes. They just give songs just a good spooky sound, sometimes a good little sad sound. If you watch my piano videos, we talked about how the black keys can change a major chord to something mysterious or something a little bit more fear inside of it sometimes, for lack of a better word. But that's the way they can be on the guitar also. So keep playing, keep practicing. You're not going to mess up. You're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to hurt the guitar neck. They can take it. This one's been dropped 100 times. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you next time.